I remember texting my sister, I think they're gonna send me a new pan, but I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. So in the box that I received in the mail was this box, which is a Le Creuset enameled cast iron pan. Hello everyone, it's Rebecca, and today I wanted to film a follow-up video to the video that I posted regarding this Le Creuset cast iron skillet that I inherited. I'm pretty sure it hadn't been well taken care of, so the original finish of the interior is something that Le Creuset puts on their cast iron pieces. I'm not sure if it's all of them or some of them, but it's called black satin finish. And I believe that this size of the pan show it better than the center. And my question and concern when I got this was, if I use it, are things gonna stick? Is something wearing off that shouldn't be? Is it going to affect how I cook? I don't want to waste or burn or do something wrong with a pan that I would like to continue to use if it's possible to do so. So my first instinct was to go to the company, Le Creuset. This company is well known as being like heritage cookware that you can pass down, that should last years and years, if not decades and longer. And I thought that it should be kind of easy for them to help me figure out exactly what's going on. After we went back and forth a little bit, I still was confused. They were offering me information. They were being very responsive. I will go into the contents of the emails in a little bit just for your knowledge, but everything was kind of at the base level. I was getting a lot of information that I had found online already on their website relating to this item in particular, but I just wanted someone to open the pictures that I was sending them and assess kind of what was going on, what I could do, what could be done maybe by a professional, etc. Because I've looked at vintage pieces of Le Creuset before, I know that there's a lot of styles that have come and gone, and so I had always imagined, well, they must keep up with the old pieces, because if it's, you know, this heritage brand, and if they're expecting that these pieces live past one owner and on to the next, there should be someone who kind of keeps track of the different pieces, the different materials that were used in the past, the different ways of caring for them, or what might cause problems, which then they have to tell the consumer, you know, it's past the point of being able to be used because it was used improperly, XYZ. I just assumed that as the company evolved and pieces went in and out, that they were keeping track of that so that they could provide customer service, because I believe their items come with a lifetime guarantee, and of course lifetime guarantees have caveats. In my mind, I kept persisting. I don't think I was being annoying. I kept persisting though, because I was sure that there was someone who had to kind of have that information at the ready, especially because this pan is still being sold. So it's not like it's 100 years old or something like that. That's the reasoning why I posted the original video that I did, to ask for your assistance. And thankfully someone did find my video and suggested that this matte finish is actually the result of food or grease or basically residue that hasn't been cleaned off properly. And I had seen that in a forum online as well, that maybe if I clean this off, it'll all, I don't know if it'll be as shiny as it was, but it'll not look as different. And I can do that just with an intensive cleaning, like with oven cleaner or grill cleaner, leaving it overnight. I've seen that, you know, don't be afraid to scrub at it, which I absolutely was afraid, because I thought if I scrubbed, it would turn from this finish to this. Again, I was confused. I wasn't understanding exactly what I needed to do. I have since used it without doing the deep clean, and it's a fantastic pan. I thankfully have a aluminum lid that I can use with it to cover it, but I've made biscuits in this and put it in the oven at 400 degrees. It's done wonderfully. I've cooked up spaghetti and meatballs, just the spaghetti sauce with meatballs in it, and it's done great. It heats up really well. It heats up really evenly. It's easy to clean, so I am loving it. an interesting thing happened. So that's the purpose of this second video. I just want to let you know kind of what evolved that was completely unexpected since my last video. I will kind of go through the timeline, just give you, hopefully you don't mind listening to my voice as I ramble on, just give you some dates and information about my contact with Le Creuset, and then we'll end up with how it all resolved itself. So the initial contact with Le Creuset started when I went on their website. There's either a contact us or a customer service link, and once you click there, it sends you to a webpage form, and you fill it out with your information and contact email and kind of what you're dealing with. So on Wednesday, June 23rd, I entered the form to make contact. I explained that I was interested if it could be fixed at home, or if I was able to get it to the company, if a professional could do something to it, and I just wanted to know how to address it to ensure that I wasn't doing anything wrong. I received a reply email the very next day, so Thursday, June 24th. They didn't specifically address my questions. The reply was that to address the claim, I needed to provide, I think it was 4 or 5 different pictures, my shipping address, and then in case of a color being out of stock, what were my preferred color choices. I provided the information that was requested, and I asked that they look at the pictures of the interior of the pan and see what they could recommend. So I replied back the same day on Thursday, June 24th. Later that day, I was emailed by a different employee telling me that the lifetime limited warranty wouldn't apply unless I was the original purchaser or I had received this brand new as a gift. That makes sense to me completely. I explained in the original email that I had inherited it, so they already knew that. It's not like I could pull up a purchase history. I think this was purchased on Amazon. I didn't have that, and if it did, it wasn't in my name, and obviously I didn't receive it new. Still on Thursday, June 24th, I replied back. I said I understood that, and I asked for assistance per my original request, and then the photos that I provided. They provided me kind of the long, basic list that I'd already seen on the website in the manuals of that the patina should not be cleaned off, how you use the black satin, why they put it on there, etc., and I can insert those pictures here. On June 25th, I sent a new photo trying to make it precise what I was asking, showing a line between the ridge and the base of the pan, saying, I believe this is the original finish. This is where I'm at now. Is this safe? Can I get this back to the original finish? What do I do? Is it, can I use it? I didn't get the answer. I was just looking for some guidance specific to my pictures, but I did get a response saying that they were going to offer me a one-time courtesy replacement. To me, that sounded like they were sending me a brand new pan. And I thought, wouldn't they troubleshoot before that? To me, I wasn't expecting them to offer to replace it or offer to fix it. I was asking someone to see what was going on, make an evaluation of it and give me guidance on if it's a problem, if it's not a problem, if it's fixable, if it's not fixable, if it's perfectly fine to use, which, I have used it a couple times and I think it's fine. On Saturday, June 26th, I emailed to confirm, and I basically just asked, does this mean that I will be getting a new pan? And later on Saturday, June 26th, they confirmed. I already had my mailing address. It was bizarre on many levels. Bizarre that I'd be getting a brand new pan, and then bizarre that no one could just address the question, because it's a well-known company. They put a lot of thought and care into these things, and I was just surprised that no one in customer service could just look at a picture and read my notes and answer the question. 5 days from the date that I first made contact which was June 24th. So on June 29th, I received a package in the mail. I will show you what came, and this is kind of interesting, so there's more to it. So in the box was another box. So in the box that I received in the mail was this box, which is a Le Creuset enameled cast iron pan with a lifetime limited warranty. Now the box did come like this. I'll make note of that later. Okay, so I opened it up, and inside is the exact same pan in cerise, but brand new. So I was shocked. It weighs the same, it looks the same, its measurements are the same. I can see the black satin, it's beautiful all over, right? So I can compare the two now and kind of try to make my own estimation on the difference. And then I was just shocked. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. So then I kind of took a closer look. I think the reason that they were so quick to help me out this way is because this is, in my estimation, I think this is a factory second. So the reason I immediately thought of that is because I grew up near an outlet mall where there was a Le Creuset factory store. I've never bought cast iron or their more expensive items from there. But the thing about this outlet store is that there's, you know, Old Navy outlets, Gap outlets, and Taylor outlets. There's all these outlets that have just seen an outlet store or a factory store as a way to add another layer to their business. And they market off of the fact that people are going to say, oh, this is a great deal, I'm going to buy this for sure. When in actuality, it's made to a different standard sometimes, or it's specifically made for the outlet stores. I think the original way that they were created was to sell old stock from, you know, seasons that were past, or to sell seconds, like factory seconds. From living near one for decades and seeing how it evolved, now I know that certain stores just have basically like a factory or an outlet line, and they design items just for that. I don't know if I ever considered what the Le Creuset factory store philosophy was. I almost thought that maybe they just sold normal pieces there. Maybe it was slightly discounted, maybe when they had seasonal items, when colors were being retired, etc., etc. Because I had only bought, like, I have canisters for flour and sugar and a utensil crock, and I have mugs. So I only bought the more inexpensive items, and they've worked perfectly well. So I never really put much thought into it because I was never buying the high dollar items where I had to really do an analysis of cost benefit. But what made me think of it was I started to look at the details. So here is the original Le Creuset that I inherited, the handle. So you can see there's color transfer on the handle from cooking, but you can definitely tell that it says Le Creuset. Now in this guy, the Le Creuset is there, but it's much less deep. It's much more superficial. That was the first thing I noticed. You can tell it's there, but it's very superficial and it's not very pronounced. This little helper handle guy is exactly the same, but the other difference I'll show you is the back. So this is a beautiful mark on the original pan. So Le Creuset France, and then the size 30. And even with wear and darkening and colors coming from wear, it's still very clear, very crisp. And I imagine it will be for a long time. I mean, that's been put on the stove and used, put in the oven and used, and it still looks like this. Here is the mark on the bottom of the new one. It does say Le Creuset. It's different. I don't know how old the original pan is. And it says 30 centimeters and the inches, so it's 11 3/4 inches, made in France. But comparing the two, there is a pronounced difference between this mark and the mark on my original pan. Whoops. See that? So my assumption is that this pan didn't pass inspection. It was made in France. And it was determined at some point, either in France or once it came to the United States for sale, that it was not up to standards and it shouldn't be sold with all the other pans. It weighs exactly the same. Its measurements are exactly the same. I mean, everything else looks very well made, great quality, but those kind of signature marks are definitely not as clear as on my older pan. And I think that just knowing Le Creuset, knowing how proud they are of their heritage, I think that that's probably a big deal for them. So also, I do have a stock pot from Le Creuset, and it was packed much better than this. Not that there's anything wrong with this, nothing happened in transit, but there was this guy in the middle, probably to keep it kind of flat, secured with the lid, and I was surprised there wasn't more packaging around it. It did come with this booklet, but again, like I kind of alluded to in the beginning, the box arrived with this kind of dent. So I don't think they would ship this out to on a full price order to a customer, you know, buying from lecreuset.com or even Amazon. I think my assumption is that the reason they were so willing to offer me this replacement, and obviously they told me it's a one-time replacement, they have record now of me telling them that I wasn't the original owner, I inherited it, you know, I've contacted them for help and they've sent me a replacement. I think the reason is they must have realized that they had this in stock in their kind of factory second, and they were willing to part with it to make me happy. Instead of, you know, me worrying about the pan that I have, I now have a new pan that I can use, which I think is incredible customer service. And again, above and beyond what I was expecting. And I'm actually really excited because I know that these will last. So what I'm actually going to do is follow the recommendation of the viewer, thank you, who suggested that I give this a good cleaning and see what happens. And I'm not going to be afraid to kind of go to town on that, because I do have a replacement that is really cool. And this is, I've already used the old pan a couple of times, and I could see myself using it a lot. The only issues that I've run in so far with this pan is that it's not the color I love. My kitchen is teal, but obviously, I mean, I got a pan for free and then I got another pan for free. But secondly, I mean, the main issue is that it's big and heavy. So I have been keeping it on my stove thus far because I don't have any room for it anywhere else. And that is requiring me to make sure that my kitchen is always kind of put away and there's not a lot of stuff left out because I've lost the space on one of my burners. I'd say the biggest negative is that it takes up a lot of space, and because it's so heavy, I don't want to be lifting it up somewhere and putting it away all the time. I know my husband wishes I would do that, but to me it's easier to just keep it on the stove, and it also will encourage me to use it more. It doesn't have a lid, but I thankfully have a lid that kind of goes over it so it doesn't dig into any of the cast iron, which I would be afraid to do, but it sits over it, so when I do need a lid, it works. But so I hope that you found this video entertaining and interesting, if nothing else. Again, I was incredibly shocked how this all transpired. It was not at all what I was expecting or hoping for. I was just thrilled to add a new skillet that I had always wanted but never pulled the plug on purchasing. And while I will still say that I'm surprised that Le Creuset could not address my specific concerns, I am obviously very impressed with their customer service and the fact that they got back to me with all my questions. They replied back quickly in a way that worked for us both. So let me know if you have this skillet. I mean, if there's any other guidance you could give me, I would greatly appreciate it. So far when I've used it, I just make sure that it's coated with oil because I've been afraid of it stuff sticking, but I don't really know if that's necessary anymore. But kept it at kind of medium or just below medium, the heat, and then I wait until it's cooled down to clean it, and it's been perfectly fine. It's really great. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you again later. Thank you. Bye.